All right, so let's check homework because I needed to get it recorded. So here we go. 626. 626. If you don't have it done, you should be trying to do some of it right now. Um, 126 is one that we should probably go over. But let's take any questions from the front first. So questions from 122 or 124. 123 is actually on the back. So questions from 122 or 124. Otherwise, we will flip to the back. Hard. 122A. So we talked about this yesterday really quickly at the end of class, and I know it's the end of the day, so it's sometimes hard to keep track of. And then I think I gave mine away to somebody, so I don't have writing on mine again. But if it was your class that, I went over it with both classes, but we had a couple minutes to do homework at the end of class. We did C together. So guys, you should have C done on your paper, and that's not what Farah asked about. She asked about A. But if you don't have C done on your paper, what that tells you is you stopped putting an effort at the end of class yesterday. Like you gave up, you piddled out, you took your foot off the gas pedal, whatever you want to say. If you don't have C done, that should kind of be like a, like check yourself sort of thing of like, why not? We did it together at the end of class. So A, we did not do yesterday. And the thing here is, I don't need to distribute, because can I do 3 times 4? Yeah, if I can do inside the parentheses, I don't distribute. C is the only one I need to distribute. So in A, the first thing I would do is that 3 times 4, but then everything else drops down. Sorry, this pen is a little thick to try to write this small. So then, parentheses is done. There's no exponents. So now I multiply the 2 times the 12, everything else drops down. That is not what we're doing right now, so. Then, what could I do on both sides? Well, I got a positive 24 on both sides, or I could take 2x off of both sides, but if we took 24 off both sides, and guys, some people have started doing this, and it's a really good idea. If you're running out of space, you can either stick a Post-it, but you might want to put a piece of tape on here, or the baby graph paper pieces. You can get those and tape those onto your paper if you want to like keep your work going and not have to like switch to a different piece. If I subtract 24 on both sides, I haven't made a mistake, right? There were some faces as I was looking around the room. Did I make a mistake? No. I think I'm okay. For what value of x could 2x equal 3x? Yeah, and if we can't think of that right off the bat, keep going. If I keep going, I could subtract 2x from both sides, and I could get 0 equal to 1x. And that literally tells me the answer. But right up here, as we talked about yesterday, 0, when I think like, oh, that can't happen, you gotta remember 0. I don't know if I want to say it fixes or it breaks. But like 0 kind of is this like really interesting like solution of sometimes it breaks things, sometimes it fixes things. Man, I was so proud this morning when whoever said, well, if we use the giant 1, like out in forum, that was such a good moment. Aiden? Sure, yeah, hit me with it.
So we're like 24 plus 2x equals 3x plus 24. I realized both sides of 24, so I'm like, what if they put 0 on the x?
Oh, yeah, so 24 equals 24. Yeah. So what Aiden is saying, if you didn't hear him, was back up here, if we think, how do I make this turn into 24 equals 24? Well, I need the 2x and the 3x to essentially disappear. How do I make that happen? Plug in 0 for x, and it wipes them out. Let's go back to the answer. Well, actually, while you guys are looking, let's flip to the back real quick. Because I don't like doing problems for only one of the classes. On 123B, what we're being asked to do is show the check. If you're told to check your work, right? Check your answer. Not like draw a check. And some of you will because you think you're funny, and that's fine. But do the math also. Does x equal 12? Well, to find out, does it, I plug in 12 anywhere I had an x. So right here, I had an x, plugged it in. My writing is a little bit too big, so I'm kind of scooching this way a tiny bit. If I have a pencil, my equal sign, it's kind of moving over this way. So then 30 plus x, so plus 12. But guys, I goofed up and I accidentally wrote a plus sign and I'm using pen. So instead of putting minus 2, I had to do plus negative 2 because I accidentally already wrote a plus sign. So this minus 2 turned into a negative 2. But remember, it's the same. Minus or negative, we can call it either. Then minus x, so minus 12. And then the plus 2, plus 2. We then do the math. And again, I don't need to distribute because I can do this. Can I do 12 minus 2? Yeah. So do that. I'm not going to finish solving this, but that is how we would start that one. In A of the next problem, some people ask, do I have to draw a diagram? No, as long as you have your work shown. So in the answer key, what they show us is the percent diagrams that we were used to. Do you have to show that? No. And especially if I ask Vincent what his idea to do in a percent problem is, what would you do, Vincent?
I would do the
The
Meineke method.
Meineke method. We can find 10%. Well, ask yourself, can we? And yes, we can. They give us 20%. Guys, I'm on the same team as you, right? Any of these things, I write that stuff in here. I've realized in past years the phrasing of this problem wasn't clear enough. The $16 is the 20%. The $16 is the 20% because that's what he deposits each week. Because as soon as you start getting a paycheck, you should put some of it somewhere that you don't think about. Like some of my paycheck goes into a savings account that I act like doesn't exist. This past summer when we had to replace our air conditioner and our furnace, I wiped out that savings account. But guess what? I didn't really care because I had that money kind of hidden away from myself in a way. So that's what Alex is doing. He's hiding away $16 every week. What would 10% be? Well, divide by 2, right? On your paper, what I should see is divide by 2 on top and bottom. And then what do I do to go from 10% to 100%? Times 10. Now, why do we like going to the 10%? Well, here, that's going to give us the answer to part B. So if you already did this in part A, you can kind of just draw an arrow up to CA. Sorry, that looks like a 9, but $8 is your 10%. And then if I'm going to try and I didn't do C, I'm not done. If you turn this in like this, you will get a check minus. We're now looking for 15%. Well, if I want to figure out 15%, I already got 10%. Can I figure out 5%? Yeah. Because we are all good at math. You guys rock. How do I go from 10% to 5%? Divide by 2 again, right? Divide by 2 again. And 5% is $4. So from there, I'm not doing it for you. You can figure out 15%, and that will tell you what his raise will be. In 126, I know this is weird because normally you guys are the first class of the day. You get to ask the first questions. But any other questions about 125 before I move on? 126, B is actually the toughest one. Well, it depends. Let's look at C first. In C, we're being asked to factor again, which we're still getting used to. This is still difficult for us. I mean, all math is kind of difficult. This is still, like, pretty difficult. Y and X are our variables, so they're not the same. I cannot factor a variable out because they're not the same. There's nothing common. Y is not common with X. What's the smallest number I could divide both of these by? Just shout it out. 2 could work. So guys, if you have written down 2 times 15y minus 12x, that is also correct. What's the next number they could both divide by? 3. So if you wrote down 3 times parenthesis 10y minus 8, yeah, thank you, 8x. Guys, math is hard. I will always take your help if we're trying to do math in our head. That's also correct, but the best and biggest number that both of these can divide by is 6. So if I divide them both by 6, what would we have left? Well, 30y divided by 6 is 5y. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and we bring the x with it. Questions? You had me going there for a second, Layla. So you're raising your hand, but then you were just adjusting your hair. In B, the difference here is with x and x squared, we can divide by an x since both of them have the same variable. But we have to remember that x squared is x times x. So when you divide x squared, sorry, we might as well say 5x squared by 5x, you end up with just 1, because 5 divided by 5 is 1. X squared divided by x leaves us with x. I expect you to do A on your own, because it is the most manageable one here. I expect you to do A on your own. Any questions remaining about B or C? In 127, what I'm always asking myself with those problems is, what could I take away from both tightropes? So like in A, what could I take away from both tightropes? 7. I could take 7 off here and 7 off there. In B, what could I take away from both tightropes? 15. Take 15 off the top, and I'm just left with 3j. Take 15 here, and I'm left with 12. For this one, what is 6, 6, 6, and 6 add up to? 24, so we could take 24 from both of those, and that is how we get to these answers. I don't really plan on going over anything else unless you're like going crazy about why is my answer wrong. I do not believe the answer key. So if you are like very disagreeing with the answer key, that sentence was not a proper sentence. Ask me a question, but aside from that, I'm ready to move on to our lesson. Question? Yeah or no? Sorry, I can't hear you. How I got where? To which? That's not a question. That is a, like, you need to come meet with me, you need to use homework help. You can't just say, I don't understand the whole thing. That doesn't work. Because I'm betting if you put some time in on your own. And guys, this is like message to everybody, not just Eve, but everybody needs to hear, like, if you don't understand it, it's probably because you haven't tried it. If somebody just cooks a meal in front of you real quick and they're like, all right, you got it all? You're like, no, I did not get it all. Right? Like, you can't just watch somebody do a difficult task and then expect you know how to do it. You got to try it. You got to try it on your own. All right, if it's done, turn it in. If it's not, you have homework over the weekend. We need 627 out. Yeah, that's fine. And guys, I know people have concerts and stuff that happen this week. It's okay if your homework's late. Huh? Yeah, so like I get it. If your homework's late, that's fine, but just not ever working on it, like that's not gonna help anybody. You gotta carve out some time at some point. And use homework help, guys. Some of you, and I love this, some of you now just have your laptop open with homework help up, and you're not even like using it, it's just ready. Right? You're like, or I made a mistake on Math 8's homework, and one of the pictures wasn't on it, and somebody was like, yeah, I looked at homework help. The picture was on there, and I was like, see? But I told them they could skip that problem because it was my bad. But yeah, homework help is amazing. Guys, when I was your age, all we had that was close to homework help, I don't know if it was the same for you, Miss Martin, but in the back of the book, we could see the answers to the odd questions. Just the answers. Like, no process, no hints, no steps, just the answers. All it let me know was, okay, I got it wrong, crap. Right? Like, if all I can do is check the answer, I'm just like, well, I suck, okay. It's not helpful. Homework help goes through the process. Please use it. I beg you. All right, so Nick has solved this problem, and we have it on our paper because we copied Nick's work. Which sometimes is okay if we're just trying to figure stuff out and if our friends are trying to help us. But another friend comes up and says, I don't know, I don't really trust Nick. And you're like, well, that's rude. But so your friend says, I want to check, did Nick make any mistakes? And could Nick have done this problem any better? Right? Did he waste any steps, or is it the best he can do? So with your team, talk through, is Nick's solution correct? And is it the best way possible? Did he follow the processes we've all been doing in class? Take a minute or two, chat with each other. Guys, again, how are we out of portions? I don't understand. I make extras.
Oh, wait, I see.
This is on your homework paper, by the way. This is on, like, this picture's on your homework paper. So is the writing, but we don't care as much about the writing that they ask us. Yeah, that's fine. Alrighty then. Should I shuffle? Probably should. I should, like, shuffle on Mondays and put a post-it so I know that we've gone through the whole deck. Right? I should be better. 10 years in and I'm still figuring this thing out. Kylie, what do you think about Nick's first step where he added 6? Do you agree with that? Yeah. Now, why did he add 6 instead of subtracting 3x? Or he could have subtracted 27 too. Do you want to keep going or you want to pass it off? Amanda. No, you're like, no, skip me for now. Vincent? We chose sides. So guys, what I want you to write on your paper is that this is the only variable. It's the only variable. So the left side has been claimed for the variables. 3x says, I'm over here and I'm not going anywhere. He could, but it'd be silly, right? Not necessarily useless. That's kind of harsh. But it'd be silly. It'd be a not efficient. It's the best way to be nice about it. So, if the left side's the variable side, what is the right side gonna become? The constant side. Because we want the variable equal to a constant. So, is adding 6 correct? Yeah. Because how do I get rid of a minus 6? We add 6. Did they add it correctly over here? 27 plus 6. Does that get 33? Yeah. So then, Antonella, why did he do this? Is it correct? Why? Because this just happened. Your card came up, but I want you to say what we make when you divide a number by itself. You taught me how to say it, though. Uno gigante. We can make the giant 1. I want to learn more languages because you guys know other languages and I want to learn more. Guys, that makes the giant 1. You should draw that on your paper as a reminder. And then my real advice is I would put a 1 in front of the X. A lot of us keep forgetting that is actually 1X. There is a 1 in front of it, even if I don't say it, because if Franco walks in and I say, "Good morning, 1 Franco," he's going to look at me like I've malfunctioned. Say, "Hi, 1 Antonella. Hi, 1 Kylie. Hi, 1 Lucas." It's awkward. We don't have to say the 1. We assume it. But that is actually what it is. It's 1X. Questions on why this is all good? We would probably give him a mastery, right? So if you want to put a little M, that Nick knows what he's doing. If you see Nick in the hallway, you can tell him, "Good job."
I'm gonna tell him that he's useless.
Whoa!
That's a joke. That's okay. I didn't mean it that way.
John's being mean for no reason. On your graph paper, sorry, graph paper. That was all the space I had on your homework paper. On your graph paper, 3 times 2x plus 4 equals -6. Now, so Nick overheard that we were judging his work and checking it. So Nick gives us this problem.
You overheard that I said he was useless.
Yeah, maybe. He gives us this problem and he says, "Okay, John." Now, Nick and John's sister are probably friends because they're in the same class, so he might confront John about this. He says, "All right, John, there's a best way to solve this. There are multiple right ways, but there is a best way." Now, hold up. Here's your challenge. Not to compare classes, but in 3B, everybody chose the same way. And it wasn't the best way. It was a way. They did it right, but it wasn't the best way. Take a minute, talk with your team, try to figure out the best way to attack this problem. And you can look at the picture up here if that might be helpful. Then write it down. Like, write down your solution process. Mathematically, there is a most efficient way. Make sure you close your parentheses. Yeah, make sure you close it. Do it at the pen. Oh, wait a minute. You did 3 times 2x, got 6x. Well, what was this arrow? Oh no, we made a mistake with n. That's even worse, I think. It's not like you made it better. The picture up here might really help. The equation mat up here might really help. Where you guys had your hands up, I wouldn't call on you. So wait, you did that times that and got that. Put the 4 big right down. Uh-oh. Then I would cross it out or something and I realize it's not correct. So, what they're doing, I worry that they're not talking. You guys got to talk. You can't just like leave these things behind. You draw the arrows. I need you to draw the arrows connecting 3 to 2x. And then 3 to 4. And this is the step that John and Eli both forgot this second arrow says do 3 times 4. What is 3 times 4? 12. So this is going to be plus 12, then equal to negative 6. Guys, you made my point for me. You made my point for me as I walked around the room. This is not the best way. Distribution in this problem, here's what, do not copy what I write because it's wrong. Here's what a lot of you wrote down. A lot of you, this should not be 4. We forgot the second distribution. So if, now hold up. This is not the best way, but I'm going to take it because a lot of you took this way. If we go this way, what is 3 times 4? 12. Oh, I don't want red. That looks aggressive. So then, what would I do on both sides, John?
What I did is I subtracted from.
Yeah, because the variable's over here. Now remember, this is not the best way, but I'm going to show it first, and then I'll show the best way. So then I had 6x is equal to, guys, if I owe somebody $6 and then I owe them $12 more, what do I owe them? 18. Right? A debt and another debt makes a bigger debt. So then, Isabella, if I have 6x, how do I turn 6x into 1x? Divide by 6 to make a giant 1, right? Divide by 6. Uno gigante. Negative 3. However, Nick gets to laugh at John, say, ha ha ha, you didn't do the best way. And John's like, bro, I got the right answer. So, is this way wrong? No, this way's right. This is good. This is fine. But guys, one thing I've learned being married to my wife, fine. If she says, oh, Taco Bell's fine for dinner, that doesn't mean it's great. It means it's fine. This way's fine. But there's a better way, right? Like if I offer up, hey, do you want to go to El Vaquero instead of Taco Bell? And then she'll say, yeah, that's better. Let's go to El Vaquero. We like Mexican. So what could I do up here? It kind of has already done it for us. I'll take hands if you want. What could I do to start? I've already kind of done it. I can see it. It's kind of like, Farah?
Could you remove like 6 positive and 6 negative?
I can't because they're actually on different sides. So remember, I could only make zeros if they're on the same side. So good idea, but I can't. John?
Focus on one on each side.
I have 3 groups over here, right? So what if I just focus on one group? One group would be equal to 2 of these negative tiles. So, the better way, write this down again, 3 times 2x plus 4, like write it down again, equals negative 6. The better way, since 3 and negative 6 get along with each other, okay, I got like 12 minutes left. I just freaked out for a second that I was out of time. We divide by 3 and look at just one group. So each of these groups we could make equal to negative 2 if I want to show that each group is equal to negative 2. So I come back up here and say, okay, my group, I don't know what I just did. My computer's all glitching out. My group had 2x plus 4 in it because this made a giant 1. and it's not gonna do anything. Right? I'm looking at one group. So one group was equal to -2. Now, Carmen, what could I do on both sides? Stop. I called on a classmate of yours, Carmen specifically. You're like saying, oh yeah, and at the end of the movie. Stop. You're ruining the movie. Carmen, what could we do on both sides? We could. You actually could. But there's a better step first. Let's get rid of this 4. How can we get rid of that 4? Yeah, take away 4. Take them away. Literally, if we look at the if we look at the mat, you're right, we take them away. How do we take them away? We subtract. So then 2x equals -6. How do I turn 2x into just 1x? Anybody? Divide by 2. And do we get the same answer? You betcha. X equals -3. Now, your smart 7th grade brain is probably going, wait. The first thing we did was 3 steps. Right? Step 1, step 2, step 3, we got our answer. The second thing we did was 3 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, we got our answer. So why is the second way better? Smaller numbers. Less opportunity for mistakes. Right? Smaller numbers are easier to work with. And that distribution, a lot of us mess up the second number because it's a lot to keep track of. So if these numbers work well together, if the coefficient out here and the number over here, if they work well together, you can start by getting rid of that coefficient. Not that. Where are we going? Here. B, start with B, then do D, and then if there's time, do A and C. Okay, B, then D, then A, then C. Cool, just on your graph paper. Thank you. We still got like 9 minutes, so we are good. Start with B. That's why it's the one up there a little bigger. B. Start with B. I wonder if B relates to the problem we just did. I wonder if there's a reason that he's having us do it first. Do B, then D, then A, then C. Now remember yesterday's lesson where we talked about like when there's no solution or infinitely many solutions? There's those weird special situations. Gosh dang it, I forgot to pass out papers in the other class again. So I'll pass out papers for you guys, so I don't forget that again. I did not grade last night, so if you turned something in last night, I had homework I had to do. Like literally before our staff meeting today, I had homework I had to complete. So I will grade this weekend and get all your grades updated. You are welcome. B, then D, then A, then C. You missed a day or two of class. I mean, it's going to make sense that these things are a bit more challenging for you than for other people. So if you need help, ask your team. Do 3 and -3 get along with each other? They can. That 3 and that -3 can get along with each other. BD than AC. So, the best, not the only, but the best way to solve this. Divide by 3 over here. Divide by 3 over there. If you don't have this written down, please do so. This makes a giant 1. Leaving the left side with just x plus 4. Equal to, what's this give us? -1. This way is better. It is one less step. Literally, here I will save a step. Because what do I do to get the x by itself? Anybody, what do I do to get x by itself here? Ooh, I don't have to divide here. We subtract, because this is x plus 4. If I divide it first, right? If I divide it first.
Please excuse this interruption. Perry and Phoenix students, anyone interested in trying out for the play, please go to the choir room.
So even if you did this a different way, you should have gotten -5. Even if you did that a different way, you should have gotten -5. So I know Kylie's leaving. Anybody else going to try out for the play or get info about the play or whatever? Oh, I'm not sure. Probably. You're probably right. Is it just if Perry would have been your home school? Okay. Oh, all of you know more than me. You're all like, yeah, geez, Hudson, why don't you know? Do D! Do D! Wait, that's A. Do D. Yeah, because I didn't fall. If I fall that way, it's going to be real bad. I don't know if it would be funny. You'd have an injured math teacher. D. Layla, graph. What could I do on both sides here? There's a bunch of options. What could I do? Sorry, did you say pass? Lucas, what could I do?
You could either add 4 to both sides or minus.
I could add 4 to both sides to get rid of the -4. I could -4 to both sides to get rid of that. I could also, there's always a bunch of options here. Vincent? Divide by 3 is going to make this gross if I divide the 4s by 3. Mia? You're right, we could, but it would be kind of gross. If I subtract 3x from both sides, I get 4 equals -4. Wait. 4 equals Is that true? This is a lie. Guys, if I tell you the sky is purple, that doesn't make it true. All because somebody says something's equal to something? So what do we write? The no solution symbol. This is a lot. Now you could also lies. But on the state test, lies is not going to be an answer that you can write. Yes. Wait, but you want to argue that 4 is equal to -4?
No, I was gonna argue cancel out the 4 and the positive 4 and the negative 4, but you can't.
So, here, if you took one of the other routes, so like what other people were saying to start, if I like add 4 first, I'd have 3x plus 8 equal to 3x. A number plus 8 equals the same number? Like this? No, this can't work either. This is also a lie. So this would also be no solution, but I feel like the other way is kind of a quicker way to say, oh, that's a lie. Do A and C if you have not yet. Oh yeah, just like I was hint, nudging with the activity we did with the word problems. One of the problems we've done today is likely to appear on your test next week. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. I fake coughed in the last class, and now my throat hurts, so I'm not going to fake cough. I think a good first step is which side has been claimed, right? Which side has, like, the loner? Cade, do you know which side has been claimed? If we're looking at, like, pick sides, one of the sides has been picked for us. It's okay if you don't. You want to pass? Eve, do you know which side has been claimed? Yeah! I like how you give me the answer and then you say, I don't know. Yeah, the 3x claimed, what side is it on? Left or right? Left. So the 3x claimed the left side belongs to the variables. It's going to get rid of that 4. So the right side will be the constant side. How do I get rid of that plus 4? Minus the 4. Because that will it'll make 0. So now 3x. Ooh, do I only minus 4 over here? Careful, we gotta do it on both sides. If I owe somebody $5 and owe somebody else $4, -9. I gotta quit borrowing money from people. So, you know I can hear you. Like, I'm old, but I'm not that old. Come on. How do I get rid of 3 times? Divide by 3 on both sides.
I'm laughing on the inside. I just don't want to show.
X equals -3. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. It's going to snow like a couple inches, so make sure you take your coats home and boots and anything else. Yeah, it's going to snow this weekend. Yeah, I think it's going to rain and then turn to snow.
It's gonna be an interesting.
Oh, it's going to be an Ohio weekend, right?
Yeah.